It's Wednesday, September 17th. Today, caught in the middle. The effects local companies say the postal worker union's refusal to deliver flyers will have on their business. Lifting a ban, but raising concerns. The proposed development plan for Bird River that has current owners worried. A breath of fresh air, the new prescription being offered in Winnipeg to help improve physical and mental well-being. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Your Morning Winnipeg. We're so happy to see you today. And Ainsley McPhail is live at the Winnipeg Art Gallery. She's going to tell us about African movie in Manitoba. It's AM/FM, and it's all about African films and really putting the culture up front and center right there on the big screen. So we're going to find out a little bit more about that. But Terry, one thing I noticed this morning, stepping outside, it's muggy again.
It's muggy. Did you have fog on your drive-in?
Not at all.
Oh, okay, excellent. Because some of the outlying areas are just seeing a little bit of that developing, and it perhaps has been, Rochelle comes in very early. Yes. Perhaps it's just been in the last hour or so that we're starting to see some of that, but that might affect your commute. Let's take a look outside. All right, 13 degrees, and we've got winds right now out of the west-northwest, just 10 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 100%. I shouldn't have put a sun in there. I did, but obviously the sun isn't even up yet. It should be a cloud with a moon, because it is partly cloudy out there. But yes, that sun won't be rising. We know how dark it's been these mornings. It'll be 7:07 before we even begin to see that sun. Taking a look at the satellite image right now, a little bit of activity with some precipitation through west central Manitoba, right down into the southwest. We once again have that possibility, brief shower activity. There will be some sunshine, of course, once the sun rises. Here's a look at the futurecast, and you'll see how the day plays out. So we've got that bit of precipitation in areas just off to the west, but also into parts of northeastern Manitoba, northwestern Ontario, a little bit into that area as well. So that chance of showers is there. It is a low chance, but there you can see a little bit later on into the day, just early afternoon, some very unorganized but scattered shower activity. Basically all along that, well, the two main highways, the 16 and the number 1, is where a lot of that will be falling. But then we will see a bit more clearing later on into the day. I mean, clear skies off to the west, but then all of a sudden you get to the western border, and all of Manitoba does have some heavier clouds. Northwestern Ontario, you're with us under this band of clouds, and we will likely see them lasting with even more precipitation in the days ahead. Well, today is just some scattered showers. It does look like later on into the week we do have a better chance of getting hit with some precipitation Friday, Saturday. These temperatures, they're not as warm as they've been, but 17 degrees is a normal daytime high, so we are still likely to be above seasonal and warming even more so once we're looking ahead to next week to see the sunshine all over again.
Thank you, Terry. A startling discovery at a rummage sale in a rural community north of Winnipeg led to a visit from a military explosive team. Victoria Beach Police Service Chief Mike McKinnon says the local community center and baseball diamond were evacuated Tuesday. It came after volunteers preparing for the town's annual rummage sale found what appeared to be a bomb. McKinnon says the military's explosive disposal unit seized the device, x-raying its contents. It was found to be a 50-year-old practice bomb that releases smoke for training purposes. It is not yet known who donated the practice bomb. CTV News Winnipeg has reached out to the Canadian Armed Forces for more information. 3 victims of disgraced football coach Kelsey McKay have filed a lawsuit against the school division where he was employed. In their statement of claim, the 3 unnamed plaintiffs allege Pembina Trail School Division failed to properly screen McKay before he was hired, ignored complaints about his behavior with students, and didn't properly supervise the school and football activities. The plaintiffs are identified in court documents by initials only due to a court order protecting their identities. They're asking for an unspecified amount in damages for mental anguish, loss of enjoyment, and the inability to properly earn an income due to emotional trauma. The school division refused to comment as the matter is before the courts. McKay was sentenced to 20 years in prison last year after pleading guilty to 9 counts of sexual assault and 2 counts of luring. The latest job action by Canada Post workers is getting in the way of how some small business owners draw in customers. Flyers are no longer being delivered to homes as the union tries to ramp up pressure on Canada Post. And as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you now, the move is impacting a wide range of businesses.
When Sean Singla took over this Henderson Highway pizza business 2 years ago, he used flyers to get the word out. They let customers know the address, the menu, and what deals are being dished out. He estimates 20% of customers come in for a slice because of the notices.
So definitely our business did pick up once we sent out the flyers, yeah.
Those flyers are no longer flying into mailboxes. Canada Post delivers them, but postal workers are no longer handing them out as the labor dispute between the union and the Crown Corporation continues, leaving small businesses like the pizza oven caught in the middle.
Which is like causing us disruption in our advertisement.
It's not just food establishments who rely on mailouts.
I would suggest probably initially at least half my business was built because of these.
Canada Post also delivers these real estate postcards for agents like Stacey Burrows.
I'm hoping that at this point in my business, I've got enough of a foundation that through referrals and whatnot, I'm able to keep my name out there. But I do think it'll have a big impact.
And for some, their local news delivery could be interrupted.
The numbers will be down, will be affected by about 25% of our papers that are going out.
Community newspapers fall in the same category as flyers. They contain news stories, ads, and public service announcements.
Both parties are treating community newspapers like junk mail, and we're not junk mail. I mean, it's, you know, fact-based, researched journalism and information that people need.
The union has said the decision not to deliver flyers is an attempt to get Canada Post back to the bargaining table. Canada Post said it's disappointed with the move and urges the union to come back with workable solutions. Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
We now have a date for when the federal budget will be tabled, and it's later than expected.
Have to make tough choices. We're going to be asking from Canadians to work together with us because they understand this is a transformational moment. This is nothing like business as usual. There's nothing business as usual in the world economy.
The government had initially signaled that it would be introduced in October, but the Liberals have now set the date for November 4th. This will be Mark Carney's first federal budget as Prime Minister. He has said the deficit will be larger than last year because of new spending, tax cut commitments, and tariffs.
He may notice a few things have changed.
Mark Carney.
10% of all project work hours will be apprenticeship hours worked by local apprentices at a minimum.
That have caused the deficit to double without even introducing the budget.
The Liberals will need the support of at least one other party in the minority parliament to pass the budget. When 4 new schools go up here in Manitoba, it's going to be local jobs that make it happen.
10% of all project work hours will be apprenticeship hours worked by local apprentices at a minimum. That's thousands of hours of hands-on learning.
Premier Wab Kinew announced his government has signed its first Manitoba Jobs Agreement with Manitoba Building Trades. The agreement ensures contractors prioritize Manitoba workers and sets standards for wages, benefits, and working conditions. And that was Tanya Paulson that you saw earlier with Manitoba Building Trades, who says 20% of all work hours will come from groups such as Indigenous people, women, and newcomers. 3 of the 4 new schools, which were previously announced in the provincial budget, are planned for Winnipeg, while the other is in Brandon. Canadian icon Neil Young is about to celebrate a milestone birthday, and a big party is in the works to mark the event.
Wanna see you dance again, because I'm still in love.
More than a dozen Canadian musicians plan to mark his 80th birthday with a fundraiser at Massey Hall in Toronto this November. Serena Ryder, Dallas Green, Jim Cuddy, and Donovan Woods are among the artists in the lineup. Organizers say the set list will span Young's entire catalog of music, which dates back to 1969. Proceeds from the concert will go to the music education charity Music Counts. Young himself has, of course, been invited to the party, but it's not yet clear if he'll attend. Tickets go on sale Friday morning. And here's a look now what's going on in traffic around Confusion Corner. Things are starting off well for this Wednesday morning. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Winnipeg Art Gallery, and there is a film and movie festival happening there right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. Yeah, there's 4 different venues for the African Film and Movie Festival. One of them, of course, being the WAG. They're in their 8th year, and they have 40 different films they're showcasing. Something that they're bringing in to bridge the gap is Manitoba filmmakers. So not only do they have folks from Algeria, Kenya, and even France participating in this, they've got tons of Manitobans, 20 of them. So stay with us throughout the morning as we chat with some of these filmmakers. There's also Manitoba Gaze, which is an opportunity to network with these folks, and an artisans market featuring many African pieces like jewelry, textures, and so much more. So the films themselves, the WAG, but also St. Boniface University tonight.
All right, thank you for that, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now with our Terry. How's it feeling out there, Terry, to start off the day?
I mean, I'm going to say the same thing that I do every morning. It's cool and damp, but that's only because the sun isn't up, although that kind of dampness, the humidity might still continue to be a factor even once the sun rises at 7:07 this morning. So we're waiting a little bit longer each morning, and then we're watching it set a little bit sooner each night. But we've still got these above seasonal temperatures, even if we are seeing the days getting shorter. It's 12 degrees right now. There's a bit of fog out there this morning. I'll remind you again what our fog icon looks like in case it's confusing to some. Northwest winds, they're 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 100%. I'm out here, though. The fog isn't so dense, at least not in the downtown area. I'm sure it's probably worse in some of the outlying areas, but clear enough that I can still see that sliver of a moon. A new moon will be happening on Sunday, so it's certainly in its waning phase right now. Once that sun rises at 7:07, or maybe even just in advance of that, we will start to enjoy at least some sunshine through the day today. There will be some heavier clouds. There's even possibly some scattered precipitation that could be moving through about midday and into early afternoon. Some possible passing showers. But I mentioned these above seasonal temperatures headed to a high today of 20 degrees. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with your morning.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
It is 6:15. Police have charged a 23-year-old man in connection to a random home invasion Monday evening. It happened on Meredith Bay, that's in North Winnipeg in the Templeton neighborhood. Police say the couple, a man in his 80s and a woman in her 70s, was sitting in their living room when a man broke in, punched the woman, picked up a knife, and stabbed the man before running away. Police say they picked up an intoxicated suspect nearby, charging him with assault and weapons offenses. Police say the woman was treated at the scene by paramedics, and the man was taken to a hospital in unstable condition, but later upgraded to stable. One neighbor tells CTV News the attack was something they never thought would happen on their quiet bay, but they're relieved a suspect has been arrested. Be extremely cautious around rail lines. That's what Winnipeg police are urging after a serious accident early Tuesday. First, a warning, some viewers may find details of this incident disturbing. Winnipeg police say they were called shortly before 1 a.m. to the rail tracks near Sutherland Avenue and King Street. A man in his 20s required extrication after being dragged by a train. Police say the man tried to jump onto a moving train, but instead fell onto the tracks. He was brought to a hospital in unstable condition with life-altering injuries. He's since been upgraded to stable. September 15th to 21st is Rail Safety Week. A ripple effect has started from a new development plan. The Winnipeg River Planning District is proposing to lift the ban on new residential developments, but some local residents are raising concerns. CTV's Harrison Shin finds out why.
Welcome to Bird River. It's a peaceful and pristine area. No new development has been allowed here, but now that could change thanks to a new proposal by the Winnipeg River Planning District.
It's proposing that the moratorium on development gets lifted and that about 600 acres are going to be flipped from natural resource to residential/cottage for further development.
According to the new plan, if passed, 20 to 30 new residences could be built here, something current owners are resisting.
None of us were enamored with
civilians. A Winnipeg consultancy hired by the district presented the plan to the public on September 11th, saying, in part, the moratorium was originally intended to control boat traffic, and traffic had increased despite the ban.
It's a narrow river, and it carries a lot of traffic, and the development plans in the past have said that we're over capacity for over carrying capacity for the river.
CTV News reached out to the chair of the planning district, and he declined to provide a statement. Civilians said their client asked him to, quote, politely decline comment. More steps will need to be taken to pass the proposal, but Kruger says the new plan itself doesn't make sense and opens up this paradise to uncertainty.
What that means further down the line is unknown.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, RM of Alexander.
Health Canada says a salmonella outbreak has been linked to dog food and treats. The agency says a single common supplier of dog food or treats has not been identified. So far, 27 people in Alberta, BC, Ontario, and Northwest Territories have confirmed cases of salmonella. 6 have been hospitalized. Many reported handling kibble or dehydrated and freeze-dried dog treats prior to getting sick. Health Canada is reminding people to always wash your hands after handling dog food or petting your dog. Although your pet may not show signs of illness, they can still be infected and pass it on to you. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe says he had a good meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney focused on the steep tariffs on canola exports.
This is another step in finding our way through what is a pretty difficult time for a significant Canadian industry.
Earlier this month, Premier Moe met with Chinese government agencies after they imposed a 76% tariff on Canadian canola seed. Officials believe the move is in response to Canada's 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles. Scott Moe says his meeting with Prime Minister Carney revolved around how Canada can restore market access to its 2 biggest trading partners, the U.S. and China. He says resolving the dispute will take careful dialogue with both Beijing and Washington. Healthcare professionals typically prescribe drugs to ease pain and other symptoms, but Manitoba doctors may soon be prescribing something else: time in nature. On Tuesday, Assiniboine Park Conservancy announced a partnership with PARX, a national nature prescription program. It encourages healthcare professionals to prescribe time in nature as a way to improve physical and mental well-being. Research shows that time in nature can lower blood pressure, reduce stress, ease anxiety and depression, and improve cardiovascular health and sleep quality. Patients who receive a PARX prescription from a registered healthcare provider are eligible for an Assiniboine Park membership at half price.
I think we all know we're supposed to eat our veggies. Doesn't necessarily mean that we do, but when a doctor tells us you really need to change your diet and make some changes, then we'll listen. This is the same sort of thing. Nature has a lot of health benefits, so, you know, physical, mental, emotional, all those things, and they're starting to have more and more studies that are out there that the more time you spend in nature, the better off it's going to be.
Assiniboine Park is the second zoological organization in Canada to join parks. You can learn more at parkprescriptions.ca. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The southbound curb lane is closed on Municipal Road from Roblin to Rannoch. The southbound lanes on Waverley between Lake Crest and Bison are open now, but will be partially closed following the morning rush. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share, please text them to us at 10400.
And looking now through the Bathfitter Live Eye, Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. And you can see a little bit of that fog as we're looking through that particular view. So it's certainly out there this morning and might be worse in some of the more open or outlying areas. So just all things to keep in mind for your commute in. It might slow you down just a little bit depending on how thick it is in any one area. Taking a look at the temperatures this morning, it was certainly cooler than it was yesterday. Yesterday we began the day in the high teens. Today it's just barely into the double digits or low teens. However, you compare that to a seasonal low of 6 degrees and we're all still well above that. Winnipeg coming in at 12. We've got 14 at the moment in Portage, Morden Winkler over in Melita as well. 15 in Dauphin, 16 for the Gimli, Kenora areas. So yes, some places still very, very mild. Right up into northern Manitoba, double digits for most places. farthest into that northeast, you're running into some single digits, but 7 degrees is still a little bit warmer than you would expect for your region. Not much to show you here on the satellite image. A little bit of activity that we're starting to see moving through west central, southwestern Manitoba. We have the possibility, too, of some very scattered precipitation popping up later on into the day. I think we'll have a little bit of sunshine first thing this morning once this fog burns off, but then that chance of showers through midday. And like I said, it'll be very touch and go. Temperature-wise, not as hot as yesterday, but still slightly above normal as we get up to 20 degrees by the time kids are coming home from school again. And just for a reference point, 17 is normal for this time of year. So we will remain above that in our forecast period as far as we can see, but the real warm-up comes once we're looking toward the end of the weekend and continuing on into next week. We'll get the sunshine back and some warmer temps to go with it. This little cute fox spotted out in the Glenella area, thanks to Ray the green guy, who sent this picture in to us. Keep the photos coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at CTV.ca. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with your morning.
Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. Maybe a dream vacation, some home renos, pay off some bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is happy. Head to the contest page on ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter the code word happy with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Winnipeg's $20,000 giveaway. Good luck. All month you can eat like you're in a Brothers Grimm tale and maybe even score some free tickets to an upcoming production by the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. Ahead of next month's performance of Hansel and Gretel, the RWB is partnering with a handful of local bakeries to offer themed treats. At each store, you'll find a QR code, scan all 5, and you'll be entered to win tickets. The promotion runs until October 8th at Jenna Ray Cakes, Faith Ice Cream and Coffee, Sugar Blooms and Cakes, Sweet Impressions, and High Tea Bakery. The RWB's production of Hansel and Gretel runs October 9th to the 12th. Cinematic icon Robert Redford captivated audiences for more than half a century, portraying charismatic characters. As we first told you yesterday, the 89-year-old actor and director passed away Tuesday. CTV's Andrea Case has more on the legacy he leaves behind far beyond Hollywood.
There are movie stars, and then there was Charles Robert Redford Jr. Born in Santa Monica, California in 1936, his acting career began on television in 1959. He moved on to Broadway, and then came the movies. His good looks cemented his leading man status. But Redford was more than just a pretty face and turned down acting roles which he thought would stereotype him.
Well, that ought to do it. Use enough dynamite there, Butch?
Robert Redford was someone who I think wasn't always given credit for his enormous talent as an actor simply because he was too good looking. He had the Brad Pitt syndrome. The people, I think, for a while just refused to take him as seriously as he deserved to be taken as an actor. But then you look at those films and you place them back to back to back. You see how different they all are, and you see that the common link is Robert Redford.
Marvin, what do we do now?
He made his directorial debut with the family drama Ordinary People in 1980. It garnered him his first Academy Award. Redford stood for many issues, his star power attracting attention to causes which included political activism, the environment, Native American and Indigenous peoples' rights, and LGBTQ rights. In 1981, he created the Sundance Institute, named after his Sundance character, and in 1985, the Sundance Film Festival was born, taking place where he lived in Utah in the middle of winter.
Our job and our role is to create a space and a platform to bring new voices and new ways of seeing the world using independent film.
Redford was married twice and had 4 children and 7 grandchildren. He died in his sleep at home in Utah, surrounded by those he loved. Robert Redford was 89.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
12 degrees at the moment with some fog out there this morning. We've got a breeze out of the northwest, 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 100%. Yeah, that dampness in the air creating some fog, but just you'll feel how heavy it feels. It's a muggy start to your day once again. No surprise there. But it's still a mild start to the day. Not quite as warm as it's been, but still above seasonal. Normal lows would be about 6-7 degrees. So we are still above that. We can see on the satellite image here through southwestern Manitoba the bit of activity that we're seeing as far as precipitation goes. Some showers, but even some thunderstorms there. You can see just beginning to show up. So that possibility is there that we too will see some of that scattered precipitation, more likely a little bit later through midday or early afternoon. 20 degrees, so still above seasonal, not quite as warm as it's been. No, we've been up in the mid-20s for the past couple of days, but just for a reference point, 17 degrees would be a normal daytime high. So we are still going to be well above that. That chance of showers is there, and a bit of a breeze out of the northwest at about 20 kilometers per hour. Tapering off overnight, or actually into the afternoon, that precipitation will taper off. So just a few clouds lingering tonight as we drop back to 12 degrees. So still remaining above seasonal. And tomorrow, once again, another mild day, but a cloudier day. We won't be seeing as much sunshine, 19 degrees, and those northeast winds at about 20 kilometers per hour. From there, not just heavier clouds, but some precipitation likely, perhaps even Thursday night, but that'll continue through Friday and Saturday as well. Then we'll get the sunshine back as we're wrapping up the weekend, and from there some soaring temperatures. I shouldn't say soaring, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but still we'll be pushing back up into those low 20s, well above normal as we're looking ahead to next week.
Thank you, Terry. 3 victims of disgraced football coach Kelsey McKay have filed a lawsuit against the school division where he was employed. In their statement of claim, the 3 unnamed plaintiffs allege Pembina Trail School Division failed to properly screen McKay before he was hired, ignored complaints about his behavior with students, and didn't properly supervise the school and football activities. The plaintiffs are identified in court documents by initials only due to a court order protecting their identities. They're asking for an unspecified amount in damages for mental anguish, loss of enjoyment, and the inability to properly earn an income due to emotional trauma. The school division refused to comment as the matter is before the courts. McKay was sentenced to 20 years in prison last year after pleading guilty to 9 counts of sexual assault and 2 counts of luring. Plans to build a road through one of Winnipeg's largest dog parks is raising concerns. It's all part of a plan to improve accessibility at Kilkona Park, a renewal strategy that's been in the works for more than a decade. CTV's Danton Unger explains.
Okay, come here. Ashley Papadopoulos and her dog Belle come here to the Kilkona Dog Park just about every single day.
It's just a sanctuary for us because she can do whatever she wants. She's able to be free. She's able to be herself.
But she worries this sanctuary could be disrupted as the city plans to build a new road through the park. It's all part of a $5 million strategic renewal plan for Kilkona Park, which has been in the works since 2014.
The plan was always to build that roadway at some future point. I was hoping it would happen a lot faster than this, but now it's actually in the works.
North Kildonan councillor Jeff Brawadi says a road from McIver Avenue will be constructed along the north side of the park through a section of the existing off-leash dog area. Brawadi says the road will allow for future picnic sites and other amenities in the area. And while it will reduce the size of the dog park, he says it will increase accessibility.
This park's been underinvested in a long time, and this way we'll actually open up the park to even more Winnipeggers, without, I don't think, taking away from the off-leash experience for dog owners.
But park patrons here aren't so sure.
We just think it's a bad idea to run a road, a paved road through this beautiful park.
People won't come from across the city anymore because it'll just be a smaller dog park.
Papadopoulos started an online petition calling for the city to curb the new road plans. As of Tuesday, it's gathered more than 1,000 signatures.
Look at the petition and all the people that are signing it and think about how building a road can affect the park itself as well as the community that comes here.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Preliminary work is set to begin this winter. The first phase of construction will start in the spring, which involves building a fence around the off-leash dog park. And after that, construction of the road will get underway. It's expected to wrap up by next fall. A Montreal mother who abandoned her child on the side of the road will stay under psychiatric care in hospital, but she could eventually be allowed outings.
I think it's fair to give hope to an accused, even if she done something really impossible.
In the ruling, the judge ruled the woman still poses a risk to herself and the public, even though her mental health was getting better. The mother was found not criminally responsible for leaving her 3-year-old daughter by a highway in Ontario. The young girl was found safe 3 days later. As for whether the mother will be able to see her daughter again, that will be up to Quebec's Youth Protection Service. The province is warning of a potential measles exposure at a church and school in southern Manitoba. It happened at New Life Fellowship Church in Hochfeld, September 7th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and New Life Fellowship School the following day from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Anyone who was at those locations is encouraged to monitor for symptoms for the next 3 weeks and get the measles vaccine if they haven't already. Here's a look now what's happening at Portage at Polo Park. It looks like things have picked up over here. Look at this. Overall, though, moving quite well. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400. And here's a look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.42. The provincial average is lower at $1.32. In Winnipeg, the average is also $1.32. The lowest price in Winnipeg is $1.26. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Coming up, we are live at the Winnipeg Art Gallery. We're going to learn all about the African Movie Festival in Manitoba. Stay with us.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Ben Acco joins us now with a film festival that's been going on for 8 years now. Ben, please tell us about it.
Well, thank you, Inslee. The African Movie Festival has been going on for 8 years now. This is our 8th year at the Winnipeg Art Gallery. For the first time, we're hosting the festival here.
And tell us about it when it comes to the storytelling and really elevating African storytellers.
Well, I mean, we think story is important, right? That's how we sort of oil humanity in terms of the relationships that we have. And so filmmaking is about storytelling. Mm-hmm. But in this case, it's about stories told by the people that actually those stories belong to and pertain to, rather than have someone tell their stories for them. Kind of thing. So we're excited that it's an African film festival. It's focused on African cinema, African stories, documentaries, shorts, features. But also it's exciting because we have local Manitobans that have created films that want to share with us. So we're excited about all of these films from international and local sort of merging together in this beautiful venue that we can share with all of Manitoba.
And what's the benefits of that? Because you're really bridging the gap here and allowing both to see each other's work.
Well, I mean, there are lots of benefits. I think one of it is that we can learn each other's culture and we can begin to share stories that really connect with people, right? It's not about just telling stories for the sake of it. It's about telling stories that sort of connect with people. And so finding stories that are sort of Manitoban, stories that come from Africa. There are lots of Africans, lots of blacks, and people of other colors and, ethnicities in this province. You find that you're creating a space where not just culture happens, but lots of dialogue happens. We experience diversity, we enjoy our diversity, and we give space for diversity to thrive. So it's kind of exciting, and we're happy to be able to share this.
And it's more than movies, right? Because there's 4 different venues, but a whole list of other activities.
Yes, we have Manitoba Gaze, like I just mentioned, 20 films by Manitoba creatives that would be happening here. There's food, there's a market, there's an African market, so lots of artisans, arts would be on display here from a great amount of Manitoba artisans. There is a big party that we're hosting tomorrow night after Gaze. I think you'll be excited about that, Ainsley. And then on Sunday, we have the awards night. So for the first time this year in the festival, we actually are hosting an award. And we will be giving out awards to both international and local films. So Canadian films, Manitoba films, and we're excited about that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ben. St. Boniface University is where they're screening tonight.
Looking at the early markets, the Dow Jones is trading flat overnight. The Nasdaq and S&P index also slipping lower. The loonie falling to 72.70 cents U.S. The Hang Seng jumping 469 points. And the Nikkei index is losing 111 points. Good morning. It is 6:46. Another man has been arrested in connection to the deaths of a migrant family on the Canada-U.S. border near Emerson in 2022. The Federal Justice Department says Fanil Patel was arrested September 5th on an extradition request from the United States. He's facing a hearing this week in Ontario Superior Court. Police in India announced in 2023 they were looking for Patel on human trafficking and other charges after a couple and their 2 children froze to death while trying to walk across the border in a frigid nighttime blizzard. 2 men in the United States were tried and convicted for being part of the smuggling effort south of the border. A witness told the trial Patel was a key organizer in human smuggling north of the border and drove the family from Toronto to Winnipeg just before they died trying to cross. As promised, the mayor has released the first in what he says will be a weekly bulletin showcasing repeat offenders.
If this habitual offender had not been released on bail for their April 2021 shooting charge, then the offender wouldn't have been free to commit that carjacking in June of 2021.
Using publicly available police data, Scott Gillingham described an unnamed offender who was convicted of 24 violent crimes over 11 years and violated bail or probation 12 separate times. The mayor concludes his recorded address, which can be found on YouTube, by asking anyone who supports bail or sentencing reform to email the federal justice minister. Last week, Gillingham told CTV News the bulletins are his way to show, quote, where the system is broken and needs to be changed. A new report from the charity Food Banks Canada says food insecurity continues to climb, but new government programs could ease financial strain. The organization's 2025 poverty report card gives Canada a failing grade on food insecurity and unemployment, but a slightly more palatable C for legislative progress, making the overall mark a D. The report suggests 1 in 4 Canadians deal with some form of food insecurity, ranging from worrying about running out of food to going full days without eating. But it says the introduction of the Canadian Dental Care Plan and the National School Food Program hold promise in helping struggling Canadians. More than 1,000 people gathered in Winnipeg Tuesday night to honor 31-year-old Charlie Kirk, a controversial American activist who was shot dead last week. People with American flags, MAGA hats, and Charlie Kirk t-shirts filled the legislative building's front lawn for a candlelight vigil. Prayers and tributes were shared for the American activist known for his conservative speaking tours. Kirk was killed September 10th during his public speaking event at Utah State University. A 22-year-old suspect was charged with aggravated murder earlier Tuesday in Utah. U.S. President Donald Trump will meet with King Charles later this morning on the first full day of his UK state visit. President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump will be greeted by King Charles and Queen Camilla. There will be a carriage procession, a flyover, and a state dinner tonight. Events will be happening away from the public because of security and mixed reactions in the country.
This is the second state visit. You know, it's spectacular.
This man is endangering human life on this planet. He's got to be told that.
Police have arrested 4 people after photos of President Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were projected on the walls of Windsor Castle. Security is being ramped up in anticipation of mass protests today. Grown-ups have smartwatches, babies have smart pacifiers.
All babies can suck well, whereas you can't really tell them to blow into a device.
Researchers at the University of Alabama have developed a pacifier equipped with microphones and sensors. It can detect information about a baby's lung development and breathing. Real-time info can help doctors treat possible breathing issues sooner. And there are some road closures to remind you about this morning. The southbound curb lane is closed on Municipal Road from Roblin to Rannoch. The southbound lanes on Waverly between Lake Crest and Bison are open now, but will be partially closed following the morning rush. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400.
All right, looking outside, it's 12 degrees and that fog has really settled in now. Northwest winds are 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity at 100%. It was so foggy on the roof, I couldn't even hear. No, I don't know what went on up there. It was incredibly foggy, though, when I was out there, just on my phone. You saw how heavy that fog was, or maybe you couldn't from the particular vantage point, but the condensation on all of my plants and just that dampness, and honestly, I was actually thinking, oh, it's too bad that I have to be out here for this, because I did my hair so nice this morning, and it turns out I didn't have to be out there because you couldn't hear me anyway, or I couldn't hear you. Anyway, here we go, moving on and seeing what's going on out there. More than the fog, we've got some precipitation moving through the southwestern part of the province. Showers and some thunderstorms that have developed in the area. Around the province, there is the possibility of some scattered precipitation. Places like Island Lake might see a bit of that, or if not the precipitation, certainly some heavier clouds. But the temperature values, they're still well above what you would expect for this time of year, pushing up into the mid or almost high teens throughout northern Manitoba. Yes, there will be some heavier clouds today and not as much sunshine, and maybe not as much heat either, but still above what you would expect for this time of year. Around the Dauphin area, seeing some of that precipitation. We may see some later on today as well. In fact, it's not necessarily reading, but I think that there's going to be more places than just Winnipeg who may see some scattered showers today. Certainly those heavier clouds, yes, whereas further to the east, you're still enjoying those very lovely temperatures in the low 20s through Fort Frances areas. Now, the rest of this week will remain above seasonal when you compare it to a seasonal 17 degrees. But it's going to cool down from the mid-20s where we started out the week, with some heavier clouds and some scattered precipitation expected to play out through the rest of the week, but a little more sunshine this weekend.
Thank you, Terry. The Liberal government revealed Tuesday that the fall budget will be released on November 4th. And as it crunches those numbers, we got another one. The inflation rate rose to 1.9% in August. CTV's Kathy Lee has more on what bumped it up and what it all means for today's interest rate decision.
Once a staple for family meals, these cuts of beef now luxury items.
I've definitely seen an increase in price, especially beef.
The meats are gone up. You can hardly afford to buy anything other than probably hamburgers or chicken. Even hamburgers getting more expensive.
Stats Canada data shows food prices rose 3.4% from a year earlier. And while the price of fruits and veggies are down, the cost of meat surged by 7.2%, including a 12.7% spike for fresh or frozen beef. Consumers aren't just the ones feeling the sticker shock. So are businesses like the Ribeye Butcher Shop.
It really was a shock to the system that not only we had to absorb, but the customers had to absorb as well.
Experts say rising beef prices trace back to dry weather in the U.S. Midwest and Western Canada a few years ago. The feed shortage forced farmers to shrink their herds, driving up costs.
There are fewer cows, and cows are really the factory of the beef industry. We have to rebuild our beef herd.
The cost of beef and other groceries, a key piece of the inflation puzzle. Stats Canada shows the country's inflation rate rose to 1.9% last month, mostly due to lower gas prices.
The economy has been slowing down in Canada, primarily owing to the trade war with the U.S. and with the fact that inflation seems to have stabilized.
The inflation rate came in just shy of the 2% increase economists had expected, setting the stage for an anticipated interest rate cut by the Bank of Canada.
A Coquitlam, BC mother and father were shocked to learn they were expecting triplets last year. Unfortunately, the babies were born severely premature, and one of their little boys is now facing a lifetime of health challenges. As CTV's Shannon Patterson reports, a promising stem cell program at Duke University in the U.S. could give their son a better quality of life.
When Natalia Kubiak and Matt Gore learned they were pregnant,
we were joking
going into the ultrasound about how, it might be kind of exciting if we had twins. We always wanted two.
So when an ultrasound technician confirmed it was triplets?
Absolutely speechless. It was the biggest surprise of my life.
Surprise turned to concern when Noah, Nolan, and Naomi were born last July extremely premature at just 25 weeks gestation.
Things really took a turn for the worst about a month in when Noah was transferred to BC Children's Hospital for emergency surgery.
Unfortunately, his lungs collapsed. There was a very hard stretch of time where he wasn't able to get enough oxygen no matter what they were trying, which led to a brain injury. So from the brain injury, he's since been diagnosed with cerebral palsy.
While Noah's brain injury can't be cured, there is promising treatment in the world of umbilical cord stem cell therapy.
We're hoping with the stem cell therapy, Noah may be able to sit up unassisted. Maybe he will get better use of his legs.
Doctors at the Children's Hospital, they said that there's a chance that this treatment might be available in Canada, but not for quite a few years. So one of our options was, we can just wait till it's offered here. But we also know that everything that we've been reading, everything all the doctors have been telling us is that early intervention is key.
So the couple reached out to Duke University in North Carolina, where doctors are already beyond the clinical trial stage of a stem cell treatment for children with brain injuries.
We have an opportunity to go down to Duke University and as part of their expanded access program, be able to have Noah give him the treatment that they were using in their clinical trial.
The treatment cost $25,000 per round. The couple launched an online fundraiser to help cover the cost of Noah's first visit to Duke over the Thanksgiving long weekend.
We are so touched by the amount of people who have shared our story, by the amount of people who have donated.
The triplets are now 15 months old, and Nolan and Naomi are hitting their milestones. As for Noah, the little boy with the captivating smile.
More than anything, I just don't want him to be left behind.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
What a beautiful little face. All right, we're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with more Your Morning Winnipeg. Stay with us. It's Wednesday, September 17th. Canada Post job action. Why small businesses say lost flyers mean lost customers. Plus, a new clinic at St. Boniface, how it could take pressure off the emergency room. And Neil Young turns 80 as star-studded birthday bash hits Massey Hall. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Hello, happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. We have a lot in the next couple of hours, including at 7:52. We're going to hear how Manitoba is seeing a huge spike in HIV cases in this province. We're going to tell you which region is seeing a higher number than others and what health officials are saying to protect yourself. But first, before we do that, we're going to talk about the weather. What I noticed is that it's still dark out there. It's 7 o'clock. It's still dark.
I know. So 7:07 is official sunrise this morning. It is dark, and now it's foggy, too. So let's take a look and see what's happening. All right, there's all that fog that I'm talking about, and that's what those lines show under the 12 degrees. Lines are the new fog icon. Northwest winds, they're 8 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity at 100%. You are just walking into a wall of water when you step outside. That fog very dense and has moved right into the downtown area. Earlier on, I was saying it's just in the outlying areas. No, it's enveloped the whole city now. Also showing up as far as precipitation goes, speaking of dampness, we got some showers and thunderstorms through that southwestern corner of the province, and we too may see a little bit of that activity developing as the day goes on. Here's a look at the futurecast. You'll see how things play out today. There's that activity right now through southwestern Manitoba, but also off into the northeast. And as we move through the day, well, there might be bits of sunshine. I mean, first the fog has to burn off, but then the possibility of moments of sunshine, and you can see though the scattered precipitation showing up along the Yellowhead Highway. The #1 highway is mostly here in the south, although there does seem to be a little bit moving through parts of central Manitoba as well. And then starting to clear out a little bit overnight, just a few clouds lingering, but the heavier clouds, those will be back again tomorrow, and from there we might not see much sunshine through the rest of the week. They'll be hanging over the bottom half of the province, the southern half. Areas through east central Manitoba, you'll have some clearer conditions coming up through Thursday. But here it's going to be pretty cloudy through Thursday, overnight and into Friday. We could be seeing some precipitation as well. So some rain toward the end of the week, but even some scattered showers, as I mentioned today. Now, even with that off and on precipitation, we're still remaining above seasonal. 17 degrees would be a normal daytime high. So the rest of this week, low 20s, high teens, but then we start to bump up a little bit more as we see a little more sunshine through the end of the weekend and next week. And our art today is thanks to Ava, pardon me. Beautiful job that you've done here. Just 8 years old, and you're clearly very talented. We would love to see all of the art that you happen to be working on. So draw, color, or paint, and take a picture of that art to email us, winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. A startling discovery at a rummage sale in a rural community north of Winnipeg led to a visit from a military explosive team. Victoria Beach Police Service Chief Mike McKinnon says the local community center and baseball diamond were evacuated Tuesday. It came after volunteers preparing for the town's annual rummage sale found what appeared to be a bomb. McKinnon says the military's explosive disposal unit seized the device, x-raying its contents. It was found to be a 50-year-old practice bomb that releases smoke for training purposes. It is not yet known who donated the practice bomb. CTV News Winnipeg has reached out to the Canadian Armed Forces for more information. The latest job action by Canada Post workers is getting in the way of how some small business owners draw in customers. Flyers are no longer being delivered to homes as the union tries to ramp up pressure on Canada Post. And as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you now, the move is impacting a wide range of businesses.
When Sean Singla took over this Henderson Highway pizza business 2 years ago, he used flyers to get the word out. They let customers know the address, the menu, and what deals are being dished out. He estimates 20% of customers come in for a slice because of the notices.
So definitely our business did pick up once we sent out the flyers, yeah.
Those flyers are no longer flying into mailboxes. Canada Post delivers them, but postal workers are no longer handing them out as the labor dispute between the union and the Crown Corporation continues, leaving small businesses like the pizza oven caught in the middle.
Which is like causing us disruption in our advertisement.
It's not just food establishments who rely on mailouts.
I would suggest probably initially at least half my business was built because of these.
Canada Post also delivers these real estate postcards for agents like Stacey Burrows.
I'm hoping that at this point in my business, I've got enough of a foundation that through referrals and whatnot, I'm able to keep my name out there. But I do think it'll have a big impact.
And for some, their local news delivery could be interrupted.
The numbers will be affected by about 25% of our papers that are going out.
Community newspapers fall in the same category as flyers. They contain news stories, ads, and public service announcements.
Both parties are treating community newspapers like junk mail, and we're not junk mail. I mean, it's fact-based, researched journalism and information that people need.
The union has said the decision not to deliver flyers is an attempt to get Canada Post back to the bargaining table. Canada Post said it's disappointed with the move and urges the union to come back with workable solutions. Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
When 4 new schools go up here in Manitoba, it's going to be local jobs that make it happen.
This is about our values as Manitobans and making sure that everybody in Manitoba can share in the value of the work.
Premier Wab Kinew announced his government has signed its first Manitoba Jobs Agreement with Manitoba Building Trades. The agreement ensures contractors prioritize Manitoba workers and sets standards for wages, benefits, and working conditions.
10% of all project work hours will be apprenticeship hours worked by local apprentices at a minimum. That's thousands of hours of hands-on learning. That's thousands of hours of hands-on learning for young Manitobans, creating pathways into good-paying, stable careers in the trades.
That's Tanya Paulson with Manitoba Building Trades, who says 20% of all work hours will come from groups such as Indigenous people, women, and newcomers. 3 of the 4 new schools, which were previously announced in the provincial budget, are planned for Winnipeg, while the other is in Brampton. A new clinic opening today at St. Boniface Hospital will divert cases from its emergency room. The clinic will be open 365 days a year and staffed by doctors, nurses, and primary care assistants. The province says it has access to laboratory services and x-rays when necessary. It follows similar models at Misericordia, Victoria, Grace and Health Sciences Centre hospitals. Manitoba Premier Wam Kanu says the province has seen good results with the clinics in those sites.
Sometimes you go to the hospital and you absolutely need to see an emergency room doctor, but sometimes you might get there and then the nurse or whoever you're talking to says, you know what, you could probably just skip the waiting room and go to the clinic next door.
The announcement comes on the heels of new data showing median emergency department wait times are trending higher than when the NDP first took office. The health minister says the province has added 900 net new nurses, 200 doctors, and hundreds of other healthcare workers. Chrystia Freeland has stepped down as Transport and Internal Trade Minister to take on the job as Special Envoy to Ukraine.
The work that Chrystia will lead on Ukraine will be deeply impactful, not just for the war, but for Canada's national security.
A source tells CTV News Freeland will work with Ukrainian leaders to rebuild the country's economy. The last time Freeland resigned from cabinet, it marked a split from former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. This time she is leaving on much better terms, saying she made the decision with tremendous gratitude and a little sadness. Freeland's cabinet roles are now being split between Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and House Leader Stephen McKinnon. U.S. President Donald Trump is suing another news organization. He has filed a $15 billion U.S. lawsuit against the New York Times and 4 of its journalists. The suit cites several articles and books written before the 2024 election, alleging they are part of a, quote, pattern of defamation. President Trump has sued CBS News, ABC News in the past. He has an ongoing lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal over a report on the Epstein files. Canadian icon Neil Young is about to celebrate a milestone birthday, and a big party is in the works to mark the event. More than a dozen Canadian musicians plan to mark his 80th birthday with a fundraiser at Massey Hall in Toronto this November. Serena Ryder, Dallas Green, Jim Cuddy, and Donovan Woods are among the artists in the lineup. Organizers say the set list will span Young's entire catalog of music, which dates back to 1969. Proceeds from the concert will go to the music education charity Music Counts. Young himself has, of course, been invited to the party, but it's not yet clear if he'll attend. Tickets go on sale Friday morning. And here's a look at what's happening now on McPhillip Street. It looks like things are picking up slowly over here and overall moving quite well. There is fog out there, so be mindful of that on your drive this morning. Give yourself some extra stopping distance. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400. All right, let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Winnipeg Art Gallery this morning. This is one of the many venues that will be part of the African Movie Film in Manitoba Festival. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. I can't believe how many collaborators they have with this, whether it's films from Algeria, Nigeria, Kenya, and even France. 20 of the films and 50% are from Manitobans. So yes, the WEG is one of the venues, St. Boniface University being one of them as well. That's where they're being screened tonight. There's also a market featuring African artisans called the Niger Market. Stay with us throughout the morning as we chat with the filmmakers, organizers, and the WEG as to why it's so important to them to include this culture. There's also another event where they're bringing in people to ask questions and an awards ceremony to finish it all off. Back to you.
Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now with our Terry, and it's foggy out there.
Very foggy. Honestly, I can't even see the buildings that are a few blocks away, the tops of them anyway, completely obscured by that fog, and it's just like walking into a wall of water out here. Very, very damp, heavy air. 12 degrees, so we are still above seasonal. Just to reference that, a normal low would be about 6. So it's warmer than that, doubling that, in fact. And the winds are on the lighter side out of the northwest, just 6 clicks. The pressure is rising. The humidity is sitting at 100%. And yes, Like I said, it's just like walking into a wall of water. You can feel that dampness in the air. So I don't think there's a whole lot of clouds out there right now. A few, I wouldn't be able to tell because it's so incredibly foggy. Once this fog burns off, we'll see moments of sunshine. It's not going to be a bright and abundantly sunny day, but there will be moments, I think. However, there's also the possibility of some scattered precipitation, which we're seeing right now through southwestern Manitoba with some showers and thunderstorms that have appeared in that corner of the province. And even in areas through the northeast, you might see some of that precipitation as well. So we have a chance of some scattered showers later on today, but still some above seasonal temperatures headed to a high of 20 degrees when normal daytime highs would be about 17 this time of year.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
It's time now for our question of the day. We want to know what band or musician is on your bucket list to see live. You can text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. We're going to take a break right now. Look at that. It's really foggy outside, so make sure to keep that in mind as you head out this morning. More Your Morning Winnipeg after the break. Good morning. It is 7:16. Police have charged a 23-year-old man in connection to a random home invasion Monday evening. It happened on Meredith Bay, that's in North Winnipeg, in the Templeton neighborhood. Police say the couple, a man in his 80s and a woman in her 70s, was sitting in their living room when a man broke in, punched the woman, picked up a knife, and stabbed the man before running away. Police say they picked up an intoxicated suspect nearby, charging him with assault and weapons offenses. Police say the woman was treated at the scene by paramedics and the man was taken to hospital in unstable condition, but later upgraded to stable. One neighbor tells CTV News the attack was something they never thought could happen on their quiet bay, but they're relieved a suspect has been arrested. Be extremely cautious around rail lines. That's what Winnipeg police are urging for after a serious accident early Tuesday. First, a warning. Some viewers may find details of this incident disturbing. Winnipeg police say they were called shortly before 1 a.m. to the rail tracks near Sutherland Avenue and King Street. A man in his 20s required extrication after being dragged by a train. Police say the man tried to jump onto a moving train, but instead fell onto the tracks. He was brought to a hospital in unstable condition with life-altering injuries. He's since been upgraded to stable. September 15th to the 21st, rather. So September 15th to the 21st is Rail Safety Week. A music festival in Johannesburg is offering something unexpected: tranquility.
It's about connecting with yourself, connecting with nature, and connecting with the people around you. So that's where yoga and meditation really come in, where regardless of where you are, if you're at a music festival, if you're sitting at your desk, if you're driving in the car, you can use these practices.
Despite the loud music, dancing, and even hot air balloons in the sky, attendees at this festival had a chance to put on some noise-canceling headphones and do some yoga. According to the Ipsos World Mental Health Survey published last year, more than 70% of South Africans report stress levels that make it difficult to cope with daily life. So this wellness program at the festival was meant to give people a break from their routine and provide tools for better resilience. And there's a few road closures to remind you about this morning. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400. Here's a look at Pravache Bridge. It looks like things aren't closed over here, but moving quite well.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
And there's some entertainment news all month. You can eat like you're in a Brothers Grimm tale and maybe even score some free tickets to an upcoming production by the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. Ahead of next month's performance of Hansel and Gretel, the RWB is partnering with a handful of local bakeries to offer themed treats. At each store, you'll find a QR code. Scan all 5 and you'll be entered to win tickets. The promotion runs until October 8th at Jenna Ray Cakes, Fate Ice Cream and Coffee, Sugar Blooms and Cakes, Sweet Impressions, and High Tea Bakery. The RWB's production of Hansel and Gretel runs October 9th to the 12th. A legendary rock act from the 90s is returning to Canada after more than 20 years. Live is celebrating the 35th anniversary of the album Mental Jewelry, their major label debut in 1991. Known for classic songs like this one, Lightning Crashes, the multi-platinum band is touring with Canadian icons Big Wreck and Econoline Crush. Live hits the Canada Life Centre March 2nd. Tickets go on sale Friday. Visit livetheband.com for more information. Spoiler alert, if you haven't yet watched last night's finale of Amazing Race Canada, hit the mute button now and close your eyes.
Oh, these look different. Check. Check. Much more complicated. Okay. Okay.
Jonathan Braun and his race partner Jesse Herink are season 11 champions. Braun is from the Ottawa area while Herink is from Alberta, but both also rep Vancouver where they currently live. They're taking home a 2025 Chevy Blazer, a trip around the world, and a $250,000 cash prize. And don't worry, you can still watch the finale. This isn't footage from last night's episode. MasterChef kicks off your primetime lineup at 7 and at 9. Catch back-to-back episodes of Shifting Gears. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
All right, a look through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Less than a kilometer visibility now due to that heavy fog that's out there. Our temperatures, though, they're still mild, not quite as warm as they've been. I mean, yesterday, I think we started out at 18 degrees, which is above a seasonal daytime high. But this morning to be coming in at 12 still keeps us above seasonal lows. 6 degrees would be normal for this time of year, and everybody is well above that, into the double digits, or for many places, up into the mid-teens already this morning, all through southern Manitoba, including parts of northwestern Ontario. For northern Manitoba, we do have a couple of single digits up into the far northeast, but many places are in the double digits to begin the day, and it will be an above seasonal day, maybe not quite as bright. I mean, certainly we're dealing with the fog first thing, but then a few extra clouds and maybe even some scattered precipitation. And speaking of precipitation, we're seeing it right now through parts of the southwest, some showers and thunderstorms that are in that area. We're not dealing with that just yet, but the possibility is there for later on today, into the afternoon, more likely. This morning, yes, it's the fog. 12 degrees as we're sending kids off to school. That temperature won't be budging much this morning, but into the afternoon, it likely will. Still getting up to 19 by noontime, 20 degrees by the time kids are coming home from school. But there is that possibility that a few scattered showers will be making a bit of an appearance later on today. And then some heavier clouds still expected to linger for tomorrow, with another round of rain tomorrow night that'll take us through Friday. Saturday still looking a little bit soggy as well. The sunshine coming back again by the time we're wrapping up the weekend. And from there, temperatures bumping up even a little bit more. Now 17 degrees is normal for this time of year, so slightly cooler for the next couple of days. Cloudy with that precipitation, but still remaining above seasonal. And our weather picture today is this cute little fox hanging out in the field in the Glenelg area. Thanks to Ray the Grain Guy who sent this picture to us. Keep the photos coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. A dream vacation, home renovations, paying off bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is happy. Head to the contest page on ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter the code word happy with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Winnipeg's $20,000 giveaway. Good luck. At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing, and we want to see even more. Whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals, send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to Pet of the Week at ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. A new study of the healthcare system examines when a cancer diagnosis is made in a hospital ER. It's a situation becoming more common amid a shortage of family doctors and long waits for diagnostic tests. CTV's Pauline Chan reports.
Emergency departments are unique. We often provide episodic care, so we only see a patient once and we don't have ways to follow up with patients, make sure that referrals that were sent actually happen.
A recent study by Dr. Kirat Gurwal shows an increasing number of cancer patients are actually being diagnosed during a visit to the emergency room, pointing to the lack of access to family physicians.
We interviewed 20 emergency physicians across Ontario.
The problems range from the environment.
Emergency departments are routinely overcrowded. Patients who have suspected cancer diagnoses are often seen in waiting rooms and hallways, and having these discussions can be difficult for both patients and providers.
To the follow-up, as biopsies are usually required for a cancer confirmation and any referral to an oncologist.
The challenge with the emergency providers is they don't have that continuity with the patient. So they can make the referral, but oftentimes we'll get referral rejections, which is one of the things that came up in the study.
Gurwal is calling for more standardization of access to screening and care. She points to programs that already screen for breast or lung cancer.
And if you have a patient with suspected lung cancer in the emergency department, you can be fairly confident that they will reliably be followed up in a timely fashion.
We know that screening guidelines are the age is getting younger and younger. And in some of the young adult patients that I care for, we're often reminding them that the goal is to get screening when you feel well.
And Dr. Alicia Kazam says some screening can even be done by self-referral. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
All right, coming up at 7:28, we're going to tell you about the African Movie Festival in Manitoba, also known as AMFM. Stay with us. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who is live at the Winnipeg Art Gallery in the theater there, and that's where you will get a chance to see some really cool African films. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. The festival is in its 8th year, telling many stories, including local ones. Michael Awurinde joins us now. He is the creator of a film here that, when is it going to be showcased, Michael?
It's going to be showed tomorrow at Manitoba Guys. Yeah, the film is called Cold Summer, and I hope everyone watches it, and I hope it's fun, to be honest.
Cold Summer, yeah. Tell us all about it.
So Cold Summer is really about a Nigerian mom and a crippled child coming to Canada and their experiences with all other stuff, like trying to adapt to a new culture and all, and the kind of prejudices they face while trying to develop themselves in a new country.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure other Nigerians and other newcomers within Manitoba can see themselves in the characters. This drama movie, why was that so important for you to be able to showcase stories like theirs?
So originally the idea wasn't even mine. I only wrote the script. So the idea was given to me by one of the masterclass students. Her name is Praise. She's also one of my cast members. She came up with this idea to talk about how people in Africa, Africans, not just Africans, but in general, people live good careers. Then when they come to a new country, they have to adapt by settling for a lower career jobs, and that really causes a lot of mental stress for them, and they believe they're not there yet. Their whole life is finished. So Cold Summer really shows that struggle and shows why it's important to actually keep going on, even if everything seems like it's gonna end soon.
Mm-hmm. I'm already inspired. The festival itself, why was it important for you as a creator to be in and showcase your work?
Well, it's really important to me because it was, aside from being a small-time film producer, it was also my first time directing, and it was also my first time working with younger filmmakers, and I really was open. Personally, it was more of a learning experience to me, and to my crew members, because it was my first time, really. It was really my first time, and I was nervous at first, but I couldn't show it because your emotions actually describes the whole film set itself, and I really wanted to show it at the festival because I believe when I show this film, a lot of people watching this film can say, "Oh, this is actually very, very relatable," especially to people immigrating and also international students as a whole.
This is your first TV interview as well? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah? See, and he did well. There we go. I know it's going to be perfect. You got to come see this film.
Sounds like it. Okay, thank you, Ainsley. And maybe today, or at least this morning, with all that fog, you almost want to just get encapsulated in a movie anyway.
Yeah, that's just it. It definitely has that feeling outside. It's like, ooh, just stay in where it's nice and cozy. Not that it's cold by any means, but it's damp out there. Here's a look outside. Visibility is down to less than a kilometer. 12 degrees at the moment. The conditions, that is the icon that we have to show fog. Northwest winds are 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity at 100%. So that dampness, yes, it envelops you as soon as you step outside the door, but probably even more so when you're stepping outside the door in southwestern Manitoba, because more than fog, you can see the showers and the thunderstorms that we have showing up right now on the satellite image. So just something to keep in mind. It's going to be foggy through the morning, and then still possibly some precipitation expected. Now, I think once the fog burns off, we'll get moments of sunshine, not bright, beautiful, sunny conditions, but there will be moments of the sun peeking out from behind the clouds, and then also that possibility of some scattered showers through the day. But above seasonal temperatures will continue, even though it's not going to be anywhere near as mild as it's been. We've been up in the mid-20s for the past couple of days, and today we might just hit 20 degrees. Then overnight, dropping down to 12. Can I say, we've got these new graphics, obviously. We've been using them for a couple of days, but I think my most favorite thing about them is this particular scene, because we'll have to keep an eye on this and whether or not it changes. My old graphics, it always showed the full moon. Now, this would look accurate. We're in its waning phase right now. So we'll keep our eye over the next couple of days and see if that moon phase actually changes too, because wouldn't that be cool if we actually could see what phase the moon was in? Maybe it's just me. Anyway, 19 degrees tomorrow. Heavier clouds are expected, still above seasonal, and in fact, throughout the rest of this week will remain above seasonal because the normal low is now 17 degrees. We will warm up. We will eventually get a little bit more sunshine, but we'll have to wait a few days. The rest of the week, heavier clouds, some scattered showers expected, and then that sunshine and some even warmer temperatures to come.
Thank you, Terry. The Winnipeg Police Service is requesting the public's help to find a missing 75-year-old man. Ernest Schaefer was last seen in the area of Worthington Avenue and Fitzpatrick Road in St. Vital around 11 last night. Schaefer is described as 6 feet tall with a thin build, short gray hair and gray eyes. Schaefer was last seen wearing a navy blue or green jacket and gray jeans. Police are concerned for Schaefer's well-being and are asking anyone with any information regarding his whereabouts to contact the Missing Persons Unit at 204-986-6250. 3 victims of disgraced football coach Kelsey McKay have filed a lawsuit against the school division where he was employed. In their statement of claim, the 3 unnamed plaintiffs allege Pembina Trail School Division failed to properly screen McKay before he was hired, ignored complaints about his behavior with students, and didn't properly supervise the school and football activities. The plaintiffs are identified in court documents by initials only due to a court order protecting their identities. They're asking for an unspecified amount in damages for mental anguish, loss of enjoyment, and the inability to properly earn an income due to emotional trauma. The school division refused to comment as the matter is before the courts. McKay was sentenced to 20 years in prison last year after pleading guilty to 9 counts of sexual assault and 2 counts of luring. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe says he had a good meeting with Prime Minister Mark Carney focused on the steep tariffs on canola exports.
This is another step in finding our way through what is a pretty difficult time for a significant Canadian industry.
Earlier this month, Premier Moe met with Chinese government agencies after they imposed a 76% tariff on Canadian canola seed. Officials believe the move is in response to Canada's 100% tariff on Chinese electric vehicles. Scott Moe says his meeting with Prime Minister Carney revolved around how Canada can restore market access to its 2 biggest trading partners, the U.S. and China. He says resolving the dispute will take careful dialogue with both Beijing and Washington. Following Air Canada's lead, WestJet flight attendants are now looking for a new contract that includes compensation for unpaid work. The unions has served a notice to the airline saying it intends to bargain for a new collective agreement for WestJet flight attendants before their current deal expires on December 31st. CUPE says it's seeking better treatment and compensation for what it says is unpaid work while the planes are on the ground. Air Canada flight attendants made similar requests during their contract talks, but they rejected their employer's latest wage offer. The union representing its flight attendants has also requested a cancellation of mediation, which will send the wage issue to arbitration. The airline says it has agreed to the union's request and that flights would continue to operate as normal. University of Calgary researchers say a brain shunt procedure is restoring quality of life for some seniors. Jill Naus used to need a walker and had moved into an assisted living facility out of fears of falling. She'd been diagnosed with idiopathic normal pressure hydrocephalus and excessive fluid in the brain. As part of a research study, a shunt was implanted in her brain to drain the excess fluid into her abdomen. Shortly after surgery, she moved into her own home and could take her dog on daily walks.
But once I had my shunt, I bought a car because I felt now I can drive again. I bought a condo and I moved into the condo.
If they have this disease and you get to them before damage is permanent, you can reverse things.
Dr. Mark Hamilton adds that shunts help prevent falls and incontinence. The study has now been published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. The southbound curb lane is closed on Municipal Road from Roblin to Rannoch. The southbound lanes on Waverly between Lake Crest and Bison are open but will be partially closed after the morning rush. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400. And let's take a look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.42. The provincial average is lower at $1.32. In Winnipeg, the average is also $1.32. The lowest price in Winnipeg is $1.26. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Right now it is foggy and we're sitting at 12 degrees. Your Morning Winnipeg is back after this short break.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
It's still foggy out there, 12 degrees at the moment. There's a bit of a breeze out of the northwest that's 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 100%. That visibility has been reduced to less than a kilometer, so keep that in mind. If you have places to be this morning, give yourself some extra time. It'll probably slow you down, and then make sure that you're driving with your lights on to help you see and be seen. We've got some precipitation aside from the fog showing up here in the southwestern corner of the province. Showers, possible thunderstorms that'll be rolling through, and there will be a couple of other places that may possibly see some of that precipitation as well. Up in the Island Lake area, you are also showing a chance of showers. Temperatures, they are going to be above seasonal once again, not quite as warm as it's been. I mean, the last couple of days, we kicked off this week with those mid-20 temperatures and high teens and even some low 20s across northern Manitoba, whereas today it's more into the mid-teens or double digits for Churchill. But again, these values are still above what you would expect this time of year, with about 15 degrees being a seasonal daytime high in places like Flin Flon and the Pas. And again, you'll be a couple warmer than that. Not very much sunshine, though, as the heavier clouds are likely to be a factor throughout the day today. And more than clouds, that chance of precipitation through parts of the southwest. But even here in parts of the southeast, we too may see some scattered showers through the day. Steinbach registering fog. I'm going to feel like I have to explain this as long as we continue to use this as our icon. That's the fog that we're seeing now, but we too have that fog over us, and as I mentioned, visibility is poor this morning, down to less than a kilometer. Over the rest of this week and weekend, temperatures remain seasonal. In fact, they will be warming up again when we eventually see a little more sunshine. There won't be a lot of sunshine today, maybe a few peaks here or there, and then that possibility of scattered showers, but even less in the way of sunshine as we continue through the rest of the week, and even more in the way of rain as we're looking through Friday, Saturday, and then that sunshine comes out, and there is going to bring the temperatures up another couple degrees.
Thank you, Terry. There's so much out there about the dangers of microplastics. We're exposed daily through plastic containers and beyond. Barbara Morse catches up with new research that adds to that, showing those at risk for Alzheimer's are especially vulnerable.
This was conducted in my laboratory.
Here at the University of Rhode Island, lead researcher Dr. Jamie Ross looked at 2 sets of mice.
They have a lot of similar organ structures and function as humans.
In one group, mice were genetically modified to include the ApoE4 gene, which puts humans at high risk for Alzheimer's. The other group had no genetic predisposition.
Both groups received normal water and water with nanomicroplastics.
After 3 weeks,
interestingly, we saw a sex-dependent impact.
The male mice with ApoE4 were impacted more. Think of a mouse in the house.
The mouse goes around the walls, right? The mouse doesn't sit in the middle of the room waiting to be scooped up and captured. And what we saw is that the male mice, the male ApoE4 mice exposed to plastics, they were spending more time in the center of the arena. So that tells you that they aren't really processing, oh, I might get scooped up here, this is dangerous.
The at-risk female mice showed more cognitive changes, both consistent with research in humans with the memory-robbing disease.
What keeps me motivated to do this research is that I hope this will help us as a society have a conversation of, do we really need our food wrapped in plastic? Just to think about what you are exposing yourself to that can lead to diseases later in life.
This research was recently published in the journal Environmental Research Communications. Dr. Ross says she's expanding her research into the topic in hopes of leading to better regulation of toxins.
Let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy birthday, Jaslyn, from mom, dad, siblings, and family. Happy 15th birthday, Tyler, from Auntie Brittany and Grandma Doris. Happy 11th birthday, Carter. Lots of love from mom and family. Happy 10th birthday, Lauren. Love mom, dad, Cooper, and Lily. Happy 7th birthday, Lennox. We love you, from mom, dad, Kuya, Yuri, and Tom. And a happy 85th birthday, Eleanor. Love from your husband, Doug, daughters Shelly, Debbie, Cheryl, and families. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff. 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca.
Hello, everyone. Glenn Sheeler inside the TSN Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Tuesday. And for that, we're going over to Italy. Champions League action. Juventus taking on Dortmund. Kenan Yildiz lets one go from outside the penalty area, and it is beautiful. Perfectly put in the top corner. Nothing the keeper could do about that. This match was crazy. It finished 4-4 with Juventus scoring twice in added time to tie it, but it was Yildiz with your must-see moment from Tuesday. Tonight on TSN, WNBA playoffs doubleheader, starting with Game 2 between the Mercury and Liberty. Coverage begins 6 p.m. Central. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN must-see moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Axel Oulé joins us now. There's a very exciting African Film Festival here in Manitoba, showcasing folks from all over the world and right here, homegrown. Axel Oulé joins us now to tell us all about what's left beyond September 18th. So please tell us.
Yeah, hi, good morning, Aisley. So essentially September 18th we'll have the Manitoba Gaze Screening, which is a festival created by the AMFM in collaboration with the 48 Film Festival, and essentially it's meant to showcase local Manitoban filmmakers. And my film will be part of it. It's called Le Fruit Étranger. And we also made a film, the African Movie Festival and Manitoba Collective, for the 48 Festival that'll also be showcased there as well.
How many will that be?
There'll be quite a few. Yeah. I don't remember the exact number, but there's going to be a few with an intermission in the middle. And so our collective film is going to play in the first half, which starts at 6:30, and then my personal film is going to be played in the second half after the intermission, which is around 7:30.
So from what I understand too, this is the first time you've really integrated the African and Manitobans within this festival. How important is it to be able to weave these different perspectives in and allow, non-African people to come in and enjoy a product like yourself?
I mean, I feel like it's really a great opportunity for people outside of the community to enjoy the festival and discover it in general. So we have an amazing variety of films. Now with Manitoba Gaze, we have during the week films made by African filmmakers telling African stories, but now we have local filmmakers, and we're inviting them to kind of have that exchange and share culture and the love of filmmaking.
You mentioned lightly your film. Tell us about it, please.
Yes, so my personal film is called Le Fruit Étranger. It's a film that is inspired by the book L'Étranger, The Stranger by Albert Camus, and it also incorporates themes of psychology and psychoanalysis, kind of Freud. It's in French, but there's English subtitles, so a lot of nice literary and themes.
Why should people come, and where can people find out? Anything else you want people to know?
I mean, the festival is going on until this Sunday, which is our gala and awards ceremony. I would love to invite people this week. We're showing films all the way up until then. And I think it's really a worthwhile opportunity to discover films that you wouldn't really see elsewhere. You can't really find them on streaming services, but also come here to connect with filmmakers, film enthusiasts, and just have a good time.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this conversation. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, we're learning about a market and when you can catch the rest of these films.
All right, I stepped outside and you can still very much feel that dampness in the air. But as I looked about a block away, trying to see the buildings in the downtown area, where about 20 minutes ago I could barely see them, starting to at least see a bit more. So the fog is beginning to burn off. I'm not saying it's perfect yet. We are still dealing with some of that fog, but it's beginning to burn off. And not only am I starting to see some of the buildings, I'm starting to see some sun trying to shine through those clouds. And there are a few clouds behind that fog. It's not like it's clear at the moment, but the fog is the bigger thing that you're going to notice at this time. It's 12 degrees, so it's also a little bit cooler than it's been for the past couple of days. For example, yesterday, this time, it was 18 degrees, which is a normal daytime high, or at least now today I think 17 would be a normal daytime high as we're moving a little bit into the more cooler weather. But it's not going to feel cool today. It will feel damp today. The winds, they're on the lighter side, and that will remain. We're not expecting massive wind gusts or anything like that, but there is the possibility of some scattered precipitation. On the satellite image, we've been keeping our eye through southwestern Manitoba, where we've been looking at some showers and even some thunderstorms that have been developing over the course of the morning. And as we continue on through the day, while we might enjoy moments of sunshine, it's not going to be a bright sunny day, more of a mix of sun and cloud or partly sunny day, but there's still that chance of some scattered precipitation. Touch and go showers, brief and light, not amounting to too much, but that chance is certainly there. And today might be the best as far as sunshine goes over the next few days. And like I said, it won't be abundantly sunny, but breaks in the clouds to let a bit of sunshine through. Whereas for the next couple of days, we're going to really see those clouds setting in. And more than clouds, there's going to be some showers over the next few days as well. It gets a little bit soggy toward the end of the week, but not throughout the entire weekend. While we might kick off the weekend with some heavier clouds and a bit of precipitation on Saturday, by the time Sunday rolls around, the sun is starting to shine again. And from there, we got mix of sun and cloud or sunnier conditions as we wrap up the weekend and look ahead to next week, and even warmer temperatures to come. Although, that being said, even today, reaching 20, that's still above the seasonal 17 degrees.
The province is seeing a rise in new HIV infections. From January 1st, 2025 to June 30th, there have been 189 new diagnoses of HIV in Manitoba, and that's nearly double the number of cases in the first 6 months of this year compared to last year in the Prairie Mountain Health Region. Joining us now is the province's Medical Officer of Health and Communicable Disease Control, Dr. Carol Kurbis. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, tell us about some of these numbers you're seeing and why they're so concerning.
Well, we've known in Manitoba that HIV has been increasing since 2019, so it's been quite a number of years where we're seeing a rising trend. And particularly since 2022, we've seen quite a few more cases than we normally do in Manitoba, so it's quite concerning to us. In Manitoba, most of the new cases of HIV have been associated with injection drug use and heterosexual sex. And that's a little bit different than what we're seeing in other areas of Canada. So we are quite concerned about those trends and, trying to put in place a number of strategies to try to address that.
When you say that it's different than what we're seeing in other parts of Canada, what are you seeing there and why is it so different?
We're seeing more injection drug use here. And we know that a lot of the HIV cases, the newly diagnosed cases, they also have other challenges such as lack of housing, mental health issues, substance use disorders, poverty. So it's really important that we look at addressing those factors as part of the overall HIV strategy.
Part of the concern is a lot of people might be infected with HIV, not know about it, and then continue to spread it, right?
Absolutely. So testing is a big part of our strategy to try to address this. We're trying to ensure that people feel safe and comfortable in talking to their healthcare provider, asking for testing. It should be part of the regular sexual health checkup when you see your physician or your healthcare provider. And we really want to make that testing accessible to people.
Why do you think there's a difference between Winnipeg's health region and the Prairie Mountain Health region?
There's really not a big difference. Both are experiencing rises in HIV. So Prairie Mountain Health has seen more of a rapid increase in cases. They've also done a lot of testing. So they may have been identifying a lot of previously undiagnosed cases. Winnipeg is as well, but Winnipeg is also seeing a rise in HIV cases.
Okay, so what are you hoping to do by even just speaking with us today? What is the message you want to get across?
The message is we really want there to be awareness that people should be taking precautions. They should be getting tested regularly for STBBIs as part of their regular healthcare checkups or when they see a healthcare provider. And for those who have HIV, we have really effective treatments now. The treatment, when people go on medication and it reduces the viral load in their blood, it means that they can't transmit HIV sexually and are much less likely to transmit it through injection drug use. So a big part of our strategy is trying to support people who are newly diagnosed, give them lots of hope. We have really good effective treatments and really support them in taking their medication. That's part of the prevention as well.
Well, Doctor, thank you for sharing this with us. And if you, of course, want more information, we do have a link on our website. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Wednesday, September 17th. Flyers stay grounded. Why the popular advertising tool is suddenly a liability for businesses relying on their messaging clout. Rate decision. In less than an hour, we'll know whether the Bank of Canada will make a cut or hold steady. And flying certainly has its ups and downs, but this particular airport activity, all for a good cause, is kind of a drag. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock. Welcome to Your Morning Winnipeg. We have a lot in the next hour for you, including maybe some live piping going on right here in studio. The Glenora Pipes and Drums Band is celebrating its 35th anniversary, and so they're going to join us and tell us a little bit more on how it all began 35 years ago. And
That's impressive. I'm always impressed when I see people playing the pipes proficiently, because I think you had to start, you had to learn.
Yes.
And bless the parents who let that happen. Because there are some instruments that, they sound beautiful when they're played well, but when not.
Oh boy, just like me when I was a kid with my saxophone. It wasn't pretty. The weather today, it's a little creepy outside. It's very foggy out there.
Yeah, there's certainly been some fog, but I think it's starting to look a little bit better. Let's see what's happening. All right, 15 degrees, and yeah, we can now see Portage and Maine down below, whereas about 30 minutes ago, an hour ago, we certainly couldn't as that heavy fog had set in. It's 15 degrees right now with northwest winds 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, humidity sitting at 100%. So that temperature is on the rise, and yes, certainly it's going to be a mild one again today. It's muggy out there for sure. You're going to notice that. And more than just that humidity or fog, we've got some straight up rain and showers falling through this southwestern part of the province. Some thunderstorms that are tucked in there. You can see the little lightning bolts firing off. So a lot more activity in the southwest than other places, but that doesn't mean that there won't be some activity as the day goes on. So here's a look at the futurecast, and you can see through the south that scattered bit of precipitation, but a few speckles of green through parts of northern Manitoba or central Manitoba, pardon me. It might actually end up being the clearest with some sunshine, or by evening time, I shouldn't say sunshine, clearer conditions in parts of the northeast. We're likely to deal with a mix of sun and cloud or heavier clouds, and then certainly seeing those clouds building up. And over the next couple of days, things will be on the cloudier side, sure, and perhaps even on the soggier side, a little more of that precipitation that'll be moving in Thursday night and then taking us through Friday. So, because there's even more to come. Temperatures, though, as far as what's normal for this time of year, 17 degrees would be a seasonal high, and we're still likely to be above that today. Not massively so. The last few days we've been up in the mid-20s, but low 20s expected today, or just bang on 20, and still in the high teens. But I mentioned the heavier clouds moving in, that rain by the end of the week, and then sunshine back as we're wrapping up the weekend. Temperatures climbing up again. And our art today is a beautiful picture that 8-year-old Ava has drawn for us, and we would love to see your art, so please share it with us, whatever it may be, drawing, coloring, painting, crafts, you name it. Take a picture of it and email us winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Flyers delivered by Canada Post are a popular marketing tool for many small businesses. Now that the Postal Union is refusing to deliver flyers as part of a job action, some business operators fear connecting with potential customers will be more difficult.
I'm hoping that at this point in my business, I've got enough of a foundation that through referrals and whatnot, I'm able to keep my name out there, but I do think it'll have a big impact.
Real estate agent Stacey Burrows makes regular use of mail-distributed postcards promoting herself and her listings. She says at least half of her business was built on this type of marketing. Community newspapers fall in the same category as flyers. They contain news stories, ads, and public service announcements, none of which will reach targeted households so long as postal workers are refusing to deliver them.
Both parties are treating community newspapers like junk mail, and we're not junk mail. I mean, it's, you know, fact-based, researched journalism and information that people need.
The union has said the decision not to deliver flyers is an attempt to get Canada Post back to the bargaining table. Canada Post said it is disappointed with the move and urges the union to come back with workable solutions. A startling discovery at a rummage sale in a rural community north of Winnipeg led to a visit from a military explosive team. Victoria Beach Police Service Chief Mike McKinnon says the local community center and baseball diamond were evacuated Tuesday. It came after volunteers preparing for the town's annual rummage sale found what appeared to be a bomb. McKinnon says the military's explosive disposal unit seized the device, X-raying its contents. It was found to be a 50-year-old practice bomb that releases smoke for training purposes. It is not yet known who donated the practice bomb. CTV News Winnipeg has reached out to the Canadian Armed Forces for more information. It was a day to celebrate at Red River College as more than 60 students officially completed a course allowing them to re-enter the nursing profession. 62 students were presented their certificates Tuesday. The Nursing Re-Entry Program allows nurses previously registered and trained in Manitoba or internationally to gain the skills needed to return to work. The Bank of Canada is widely expected to announce a rate cut this morning.
The economy has been slowing down in Canada, primarily owing to the trade war with the US, and with the fact that inflation seems to have stabilized.
Most economists think the Bank of Canada will lower its key lending rate, even though inflation went up in August. That's because the economy is showing signs of weakness and the job market has slowed down. A quarter-point cut would bring the benchmark rate down to 2.5%. The decision will be announced at 8:45 Central Time. Thousands of people came out to Dulles International Airport in Washington, but it wasn't to get on a plane. It was to pull a plane. 86 teams came out to the 2025 Dulles plane pull, raising $600,000 for local Special Olympics athletes. Teams competed by either pulling a FedEx cargo plane or a United Airlines 737. Here's a look now what's happening in traffic along the St. James Bridge. It looks like things are moving quite well over here so far. The fog looks like it's lifting slightly. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Winnipeg Art Gallery. We're hearing all about the African Film Festival. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle. And you're going to see some films from all over, but you also might be able to purchase something. Abiyoto Adeto joins us now to tell us all about this market. What can people expect?
Thank you. Yes, at the market, there will be African-inspired art, fashion, loads of artwork. You have butter creams. If you want to do something about your hair, you have products that would help you with your hair. We have people from Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, vendors from Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Nigeria, Ghana. We have 54 countries in Africa, but at least we have about 7 to 10 vendors coming in from different parts of Africa, and you're able to purchase stuff from them.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but you're supporting the films, and now you're actually tangibly supporting locals from within our community.
Oh, yes, because it's important while you're seeing the movie to also be able to purchase some of the things you can even see in the movie. So, yes, and every one of the vendors are local to Winnipeg, local to Manitoba, and they have been doing this in their small capacity, and it's also a big opportunity for them to be able to come with the movie festival to showcase their products.
Mm-hmm. And something that I've even observed myself within looking at African pieces is not only the color, the vibrancy, but the details too. I asked you before we went to air, I said, oh, I like your earrings, and you got some from the market.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. There's something about the African culture, you know, wherever we are, it's always like fun, is lovely, and that also goes into every detail that we put into, for instance, our wares or our earpieces or accessories. There's always something extra about us, and all those extra, you can be part of it when you come to the market and pick your, most of them are handcraft, you know, artworks as well, and you can pick any piece you like from any of the vendors from across the different countries in Africa.
I guess I'll say too, while supplies last then, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And while discount lasts, because they're also going to be giving massive discounts for the festival as well. So make sure you come around, come see what the market will look like, and pick something for yourself or a friend.
Awesome. Thank you so much. In the next segment, I might just have one earring, Rochelle.
Can't wait. Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Well, your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. Maybe go on a vacation, do some renos at home, or pay off some bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is happy. Head to the contest page on ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter the code word happy with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Winnipeg's $20,000 giveaway. Tune in tomorrow for another code word. Good luck.
All right, we're looking through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. And yes, you can see that fog lifting now a little bit. We'd gone from less than a kilometer visibility, that was into the 7 o'clock hour, to now 23 kilometers of visibility. So great improvements out there. Maybe still a little poorer in some of the outlying areas, but we are starting to see it lifting somewhat. Temperatures, speaking of lifting, well, I guess they're on the rise anyway. From 12 degrees last hour, we're now sitting at 15 and seeing very similar temperatures all through the southeast. Slightly cooler over in Brandon, just barely into the double digits, 11 degrees for you. But to reference what would be a normal low, that would be about 7. So everybody is well above what you would expect for this time of year. Still sitting in those single digits, though. Churchill, Gillam haven't budged much from 6 degrees, although double digits throughout much of the rest of the north. There won't be a lot of sunshine. Heavier clouds are expected today, but more than clouds here in the south, maybe some precipitation to go along with it. The showers, the thunderstorms, we've been keeping our eye on those in that very southwestern corner. We could see some of that developing later on into the day as we're sending kids off to school, just partly cloudy, a little bit foggy too. But it'll be around lunchtime or maybe later on into the afternoon where that chance of showers develops. Getting up to 20 degrees though by the time kids are coming home from school. That will be above seasonal. 17 degrees, a normal daytime high. And throughout the rest of this week, even though we're not seeing a whole lot of sunshine with some heavier clouds and some scattered precipitation, will still remain above normal. And then it warms up even more once we're looking toward the end of the weekend and into the start of next week. Oh.
The Glenora Pipes and Drums Band is putting on a big show to celebrate its 35th anniversary. It's happening at the Irish Association of Manitoba this Saturday evening, and partygoers will get a taste of live music and a wide selection of beer and whiskeys. Joining us now is the pipe major of Glenora Pipes and Drums, Evan Maidaniak. Good morning, Evan.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Now take us back to 1990. This is well before you were born.
That's right.
Tell us how this all began.
Yeah, so back in 1990, pipe major Tommy Thompson and Bill McLeod formed our pipe band, Glenora Pipes and Drums, based in Selkirk, Manitoba, actually.
Okay.
They moved to Winnipeg in the past 15 years to kind of more of a population base for us to play out of, but we've been playing Scottish and Irish music for about 35 years now.
And what was sort of the incentive to get started with this?
Absolutely. There's a long history of Scottish and Celtic settlers here in the province as well. So being a way to celebrate our heritage as a Celtic band is really important. And so we do, we preserve the highlighted art of piping and drumming in the province.
Okay, so how did you get started with piping?
Oh boy, I had a crush on somebody in the pipe band. I was in cadets and I wanted to control them a little bit better, so I joined the band to try and date them. It didn't work out, but the bagpipe worked out for me.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about how it's transformed in 35 years and some of the competitions that you've taken part in.
Absolutely, so the band's been anywhere from grade 5 to grade 2. We traveled across Canada for performances and competitions as far as Canmore and Banff and out east as well, based here in Winnipeg as well. So competing is how we kind of keep our talents honed and nice and strong.
And do you feel a real connection to the instrument when you perform?
It's my baby. It makes me so happy to play. And it's loud and obnoxious sometimes, but it's just the most fun to play too.
And when you're doing it with others, does it feel like a real group of camaraderie?
Absolutely. You have 16 people doing the exact same thing at the exact same time together. It takes lots of practice in unison and good connection with the band as well. So that cohesion of the crew and just making art with your friends is the most rewarding thing.
And now that you've been doing it and knowing that the 35th anniversary is here and being a part of that history, how does it feel to you being able to share that with others?
It's a huge milestone. You know, we're very proud to have been in a band since 1990.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big milestone for us, and being that fact that we've had 4 pipe majors in that time and we've kept the band going different iterations, we're still making music, preserving an important cultural heritage is really something we're quite proud of.
Now, recruitment is always something you're after as well. You're always looking for new members to join in. How is your membership?
So we're about 20 members right now, and we have a mixture of people who've been playing for 40 years, we've been playing for 8 years. So it's a wide variety of folks there as well. Okay. So if you're a piper or drummer, we've been playing for not some time, come back and we'll be out with the band happily.
But also you want new ones too, right?
Absolutely.
New members. So if mom and dad are watching, they have a little one who's interested, what would you say to them?
Yeah, there's a bunch of youth bands in the province that we best to hand your kids with other kids playing. Transcona District Pipe Band, Lord Selkirk Pipe Band are both great institutions for teaching kids. More adult, you look to us for more adult training with Glenora Pipes and Drums.
Okay, this party on Saturday, you're going to perform for us, Evan, but before we do that, tell us about this party quickly.
Yeah, it's happening this Saturday from 7:30 to 10:30, the Irish Association of Manitoba.
Okay.
There'll be the Pipes and Drums of Glenora and Carja, which is a Irish Celtic band as well. So a mixture of 2 bands performing that night. Of course, Irish beer and some Irish whiskeys as well. So it should be a great time.
And everyone is welcome to attend?
Absolutely. It's an all ages event.
Okay, so you're going to do a quick performance for us. What are you going to play?
It's called Glenora Pipes and Drums. It's their namesake tune, actually, written by our first pipe major.
Okay, take it away.
All right, thanks so much.
Nice way to serenade us into a beautiful morning. And I'm going to call it beautiful because these temperatures are pleasant. There's a bit of a dampness to the air, most definitely. I've been talking about the high humidity, but the fog that we were seeing earlier on is pretty much burned off now, and even starting to see a few glimmers of sunshine through what's currently heavier clouds. 15 degrees right now, so that temperature did bump up several degrees just into the past hour. We were at 12 through the 7 o'clock hour, and now 3 degrees warmer than that. The winds are light out of the east-northeast. They're just 5 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, and the humidity, you will notice that still sitting at 100%. Mainly cloudy conditions around the province. We're even seeing some precipitation through southwestern Manitoba. Showers and thunderstorms have been developing through the morning, and we too here in the southeast may see some scattered precipitation later on today. Not just the southeast, but parts of central Manitoba may also see some light, scattered, brief passing showers, not amounting to too much, but that possibility is there. Now, we're not going to be seeing a whole lot of sunshine today. Like I said, maybe a few glimmers here or there, but even less sunshine through the rest of this week. Heavier clouds are expected and even more rain, but the temperature is remaining seasonal or above. 17 degrees would be normal for this time of year. We're headed to a high of 20 for today. And while today has some brief passing showers, more steady rain is expected later on this week. Thursday night it'll begin, continuing Friday and into Saturday. But then by Sunday, expect to see some sunshine again and some even warmer temperatures to go along with it.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
Good morning. A new book of fictional short stories explores death, illness, and mourning. The book is titled Seeing You Home. It was written by Winnipeg author Catherine Hunter, who uses her own husband's cancer diagnosis, his battle, and his eventual death to tell this story. The many stories. Joining us now is author Catherine Hunter. Good morning, Catherine.
Good morning, Marshall.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, this is almost an exploration of your own personal grief, losing your husband. Tell us about your husband and what happened.
Okay, so my husband's name was Ron, still is Ron, and yeah, he became very ill and was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer in 2016.
Okay.
And then he continued to live until 2018, when he died at the end of that year. But his life was prolonged by certain new drugs that are, it's a sort of targeted therapy.
Okay.
So he lived a full year, if not more, longer than was expected. So that was a really wonderful thing. So it was kind of a bit of a miracle.
Right.
And so...
You were married for how long?
For we were together for a long time before we were even married, but I would say over 20 years, yeah.
And so this book, you never intended on writing this book at all. You wanted to just write a story about it, right?
That's right.
And then you wrote another story, and then another story. Tell us about the many chapters of grief that you ended up writing.
Okay, thank you. Great question.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the first story I wrote was about a time when my husband was very, very ill with sepsis. He was in the St. Boniface Hospital, and I was still at home, right? And he was in the hospital, and so we kept in touch by phone, texting and calling. And then we couldn't find his phone. I looked all over the hospital room and everything, and it turned out it had been stolen out of his hospital room while he was lying there really sick. And I was like, who does that? You know, I don't know. So I was very naive, and for a long time I kind of refused to accept that. But then we tried this Find My Phone tracking device, and we looked on the map, and there was this little blue circle that was the phone, and it was moving. It's moving out of St. Boniface, and then it was going all the way, it was going on north on Notre Dame. And so I was just horrified that somebody really had it. And I kept saying, oh, somebody took it by mistake. As soon as they find out it's not theirs, they'll return it to the hospital.
That's not how it played out.
No.
And so this book explores some of the funnier moments, some of the more difficult moments of grief. Are you hoping, it's all fictional, these stories are all fictional.
Yes.
Are you hoping that those who are going through their own grief can use it to sort of manage and help them through it?
I really do hope that it would at least be, if not comfort, at least there'd be some recognition from people. You know, we walk through the city day after day and not really looking at the other people who are there with us. And so many people are going through all kinds of terrible things, but there are definitely hundreds, if not thousands, of people dealing with cancer in their family all the time.
Yeah.
And
so your book, it's Seeing You Home, will be launched at McNally Robinson Thursday at 7 p.m. Of course, the public is welcome to attend. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. It's a beautiful book. Thank you so much. Seeing You Home.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You too.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
It's 15 degrees outside with some clouds hanging over us. Every now and then you'll see a peak of sunshine. Enjoy it while you get it. East-northeast winds are 5 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity at 100%. At least the fog is beginning to burn off. We looked outside earlier this morning and you couldn't see beyond your fist, well, or beyond our camera lens, I guess. It was very heavy fog with visibility down to less than a kilometer. That has at least improved, but now the heavier clouds are lingering, and even more than clouds, a bit of precipitation, certainly in that southwestern corner of the province. We've been keeping our eye here at the showers and even some thunderstorms that are firing off in that area. We've just got some clouds, but we will perhaps see some scattered showers. The possibility is certainly there today with mainly cloudy conditions. 20 degrees, though. It's not going to be quite as warm as it's been the last couple of days. We've been up into the mid-20s, well above seasonal. But even our 20 that we're expecting today is still a little bit above normal. 17 degrees would be a seasonal high, so a few beyond it today. In the overnight hours, dropping down to 12 degrees, similar to where we fell to this past night, with just partly cloudy conditions expected. Tomorrow, mainly cloudy conditions, not much in the way of sun. 19 degrees, maybe even a little bit cooler, but again, still above seasonal, and will remain above seasonal throughout the rest of this week. But the heavier clouds, I mean, even today, brief moments of sunshine, but even heavier clouds than expected throughout the rest of the week. And more than clouds, some scattered precipitation is expected. By the time we're wrapping up the weekend, we'll see a little more sunshine. We'll also get a little more heat with the temperatures on the rise again.
The Winnipeg Police Service is requesting the public's help to find a missing 75-year-old man. Ernest Schaefer was last seen in the area of Worthington Avenue and Fitzpatrick Road in Savital around 11 p.m. last night. Schaefer is described as 6 feet in height with a thin build with short gray hair and gray eyes. Schaefer was last seen wearing a navy blue or green jacket and gray jeans. The Winnipeg Police Service is concerned for Schaefer's well-being and is asking anyone with any information regarding his whereabouts to contact the Winnipeg Police Service Missing Persons Unit at 986-6250. A planning district in eastern Manitoba is proposing to lift the ban on new residential developments, but some local residents in the Bird River area are raising concerns. No new development has been allowed here at Bird River, but now that could change, thanks to a new proposal by the Winnipeg River Planning District. According to the new plan, if passed, 20 to 30 new residences could be built here, something current owners are resisting. CVLNS, which is a Winnipeg consultancy firm hired by the district, presented the plan to the public on September 11th, saying in part, the moratorium was originally intended to control boat traffic, and traffic had increased despite the ban.
It's a narrow river, and it carries a lot of traffic, and the development plans in the past have said that we're over capacity for over carrying capacity for the river.
CVLNS said their client asked them to politely decline comment. More steps will need to be taken to pass the proposal, but Kruger says the new plan itself doesn't make sense and opens up this paradise to uncertainty. The family of a woman shot and killed while riding in a car in Saskatchewan is urging those responsible to come forward.
There's a family that's suffering, that suffered a terrible loss. And that person needs to come forward to help give them closure and to understand how and why this happened.
Tanya Myers was just 44 years old. She died after being hit by a bullet on September 12th. She was the passenger in an SUV just outside of Weyburn on Highway 39. Investigators say they're working to identify several vehicles that were traveling through the area at the time of the shooting. Plans to build a road through one of Winnipeg's largest dog parks is raising concerns. It's all part of a plan to improve accessibility at Kilkona Park, a renewal strategy that's been in the works for more than a decade. CTV's Danton Unger explains.
Okay, come here. Ashley Papadopoulos and her dog Belle come here to the Kilkona Dog Park just about every single day.
It's just a sanctuary for us because she can do whatever she wants. She's able to be free. She's able to be herself.
But she worries this sanctuary could be disrupted as the city plans to build a new road through the park. It's all part of a $5 million strategic renewal plan for Kilkona Park, which has been in the works since 2014.
The plan was always to build that roadway at some future point. I was hoping it would happen a lot faster than this, but now it's actually in the works.
North Kildonan Councillor Jeff Brawadi says a road from McIver Avenue will be constructed along the north side of the park through a section of the existing off-leash dog area. Brawadi says the road will allow for future picnic sites and other amenities in the area. And while it will reduce the size of the dog park, he says it will increase accessibility.
This park's been underinvested in a long time, and this way we'll actually open up the park to even more Winnipeggers, and without, I don't think, taking away from the off-leash experience for dog owners.
But park patrons here aren't so sure.
We just think it's a bad idea to run a paved road through this beautiful park.
People won't come from across the city anymore because it'll just be a smaller dog park.
Papadopoulos started an online petition calling for the city to curb the new road plans. As of Tuesday, it's gathered more than 1,000 signatures.
Look at the petition and all the people that are signing it and think about how building a road can affect the park itself as well as the community that comes here.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Let's take a look now at what's happening on Donald Street. It looks like things have picked up over here, but overall moving quite well. No issues to tell you about in this region. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.42. The provincial average is lower at $1.32. In Winnipeg, the average is also $1.32. And the lowest price in Winnipeg is $1.26. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
For our cue of the day, we wanted to know what band or musician is on your bucket list to see live. Ava, who's visiting from New Brunswick, says the musicians on her bucket list to see live is Blondie. Oh, thank you. I like that one. Marlene says Lenny Kravitz, and when Jordan Blue wins AGT, she wants to see him too. Lindsay would love to see Rammstein, only because they have the most insane pyro and stage presence. Susan wants to see Jelly Roll. Lori says, I know my daughter and her family would love to go see Morgan Wallen. For me, I would love to see Duran Duran come to Winnipeg. Thank you to all of you for your responses. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Winnipeg Art Gallery. We're talking about the African Movie Festival that is happening, and there are a few different venues to visit. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle. Yeah, there's actually 4 of them, and we're at the WAG right now, which is one of them. Julia Lafreniere joins us to tell us all about the importance of that partnership. Now, Julia, it's been a 5-year partnership so far. The festival's been going on in its 8th year. Tell us about it.
Well, yeah, the partnership's been going on for 8 years now, and we just recently signed a memorandum of understanding. So for the next 5 years, the African Movie Festival of Manitoba will be hosted here at the Winnipeg Art Gallery.
Tell us about some of the screenings.
The screenings begin Thursday evening with some local films here by filmmakers from Manitoba, and then we move into some feature, some French, some documentaries, so that happen over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So they really run the gamut of the different types of genres and offerings. Yeah.
And half of them, too, are Manitobans. When it comes to the venue itself, you guys, you showcase so many different types of artwork. Film is an art form, of course. So why was it so key to be able to integrate the African culture and in Manitoba's culture within this facility?
Well, we try to be representative of the city and the province and just the community around us here at the Winnipeg Art Gallery. So, of course, that would include Black voices, and so we really want to work to uplift the people that have been historically marginalized from different colonial institutions, including the Winnipeg Art Gallery. So we're really trying to go that extra mile to partner with these great organizations like the African Movie Festival in Manitoba, who've been doing really great work, and I'm really grateful for their partnership and for them willing to bring their films here to the WAG. It's really an honor.
And just so our audience at home knows too, they're not going to be at the WIG tonight. They're going to be at St. Boniface University. There are other opportunities though. Is there anything else that you guys want the public to know when it comes to that partnership, or what's next? What's to come the next 5 years?
Well, hopefully over the next 5 years we can work on growing the audience. I mean, like I said, the films are really spectacular, really world-class films being showcased. And if you go to the website, you can definitely check out some of the trailers and just come down and join us for a great celebration of African culture here at the WAG.
I think that's my problem. I just sit there for hours on end watching movie trailers, and then I'm unable to pick, and then my time is out. Unfortunately, our time is out for this segment. Head to a link on our website if you want to watch our other interviews.
Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. Is that fog dissipating?
Yeah, pretty much gone now, and it is looking a little bit brighter, but only because the sun is maybe able to get through the breaks in the clouds. Is primarily on the cloudier side, and that's certainly the main thing that you'll notice when you step out here this morning. But it's still very mild. We're sitting at 15 degrees with east-northeast winds, 5 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 100%. And it's not feeling quite as like that heavy dampness. I mean, that fog earlier on this morning, I could just see the condensation on my plants and whatnot. It's still, humidity is still up there at 100%, don't get me wrong, but it's not like walking into the wall of water when that heavy layer of fog had settled over the city. But we are still dealing with some heavier clouds, just a few breaks of sunshine, but even possibly some scattered precipitation could make an appearance later on today. We're already seeing some of that precipitation through southwestern Manitoba. Showers and thunderstorms are moving through that corner of the province currently, and we may see, like I said, some brief passing showers here in the southeast for later on today. Midday through early afternoon, that chance is there, but still with the above seasonal temperatures. Headed to a high today of 20 degrees, so not as warm as it's been the last couple of days, but compare that to a seasonal 17 degrees, and we're still a few above that. We're taking a break right now, but stick around. We will be back in a moment with your morning.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
In 1933, Canada was in the Great Depression. R.B. Bennett of Hopewell Hill, New Brunswick, was Prime Minister, and Moosehead beer appeared in bottles for the first time. Over the next 92 years, there were brown stubbies and green long necks, but that era is now over. Moosehead says they will no longer be offering bottled beer. CTV's Avery McCrae tells us why.
For decades, the sound of bottles clanging has been the soundtrack inside St. John's Moosehead Brewery.
We're very proud of our past, but we're always focused on our future and focused on what we need to do next to keep earning the trust and the support of beer drinkers.
By year's end, Moosehead will stop producing bottled beer and focus exclusively on cans and kegs. Moosehead President and CEO Andrew Olin says the decision reflects the times. According to Moosehead, just 7% of beer drinkers in Canada are twisting off a bottle cap, compared to 85% who are cracking open a can. The amount of can consumers has increased by 20% in the last 5 years alone.
When my great-great-great-grandmother, Susanna Olin, started brewing beer in 1867, we only sold it in kegs. And we didn't start selling in bottles till 1933, and then cans came in the mid-1950s. This will give us time, an opportunity in the years to come to look at either larger cans or smaller cans.
Let's go moonlighting. The bottles have been iconic over the company's years, whether it be the classic green bottle or the old-style stubby. Bottling up that area of production wasn't a decision made lightly by Canada's oldest brewery.
I go back to sort of when we first started talking about it in 2019, and I remember like, that'll never happen. And then you get more and more comfortable with these decisions, and who knows what Moosehead will be selling beer in 50 years from now, but it'll all be the great beer that we brew here at Moosehead.
The company intends to expand its canning capability at the plant. The final bottle run will happen in December and stay on shelves until they're out. To celebrate the end of the bottling era, Moosehead is offering the chance for one lucky fan to take home the final bottle ever made at the brewery. The winner of an online contest, which closes October 27th, will be selected to witness the final production run and take home the last ever bottle directly off the line. Have to admit, it's a neat little piece of Canadian brewing history to be had. Avery McRae, CTV News, St. John.
We're at Visual Eyes Optometry, and Dr. Carmen Rexsiedler is an optometrist that we're going to chat with today. Let's talk a little bit about the importance of eye exams when it comes to our overall health.
Absolutely. There's so much we can see in the eye, and the eye is actually the only place in the body where we can look directly at the vessels. And it's here looking at the vessels that we can examine them for bleeding or blockages. And these are really important signs of diabetes, high blood pressure, or cholesterol.
Very interesting. So is there something that we would notice in our vision, like a change in vision that might be a bit of a sign?
So not necessarily. Many of these changes don't cause changes to our vision, and that's why it's so important to get checked regularly. We use a microscope called a slit lamp, and that allows us to examine the different structures of the eye, and we can find some really important findings. So in the cornea, we can look for deposits in the cornea, and that can be a sign of high cholesterol, especially if we see that in someone under the age of 40. We can also look for inflammation in the eye, and that can be a sign of uveitis, which is often associated with underlying inflammatory or autoimmune conditions. We look at the nerve in the back of the eye, and that's actually an extension of our brain. And here we're looking for swelling, and that's a critical finding.
All right. Any other things through, looking into the brain almost that you're able to detect then?
So yes, actually, we also do a test called a field of vision. And this is analyzing not just how wide our field of vision is, but we look for patterns of vision loss, and we're really testing the visual pathway through the brain. And so here, patterns of vision loss may identify a stroke or even a brain tumor.
Wow, and these are obviously things that we want to stay on top of. And again, how you mentioned, you might not be able to tell necessarily by what it is that you're seeing, which kind of brings us back to the importance of regular eye exams, right? Any other things that we can do to make sure that we're staying on top of our vision?
So we do recommend yearly eye exams for children and seniors. And adults should be seen every 2 years, even if you're not having a change or visual symptoms, just to do the overall health assessment. And there's many connections also that we're able to pick up on that if you're noticing a change in your eye muscles or eyelids, we certainly want these to be brought to the attention of an optometrist, because let's say an eyelid becomes weaker and starts to fall, or the eye muscles become limited in their range. This could be the first sign of something like multiple sclerosis or myasthenia gravis.
Wow, all things that, would sound terrifying, right? But then you want to catch them early because you can actually do some preventative care then by staying on top of this, right?
Exactly. So if you don't have an optometrist, please find an optometrist at optometrist.mb.ca.
Stay on top of those regular eye exams. Thanks so much for the chat.
Thank you.
All right, outside this morning, you can see it is looking a little bit brighter as the sun tries to bust out from behind the clouds. 15 degrees is where we're sitting right now with east-northeast winds, 5 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 100%. So yes, a little bit of sun trying to get out from behind the clouds, but heavier clouds and even some showers and thunderstorms here through southwestern Manitoba. We too may see some brief precipitation passing through later on today. So too might the Island Lake area see some scattered precipitation. But no matter where you are today, we're still in for these above seasonal temperatures. Even though it's not going to be quite as warm as it's been, you can still expect some double digits or mid-teens throughout much of the north northeast. The northwest might even be a degree or two higher than that. Just for a reference point, around 15 degrees would be a seasonal high in places like Flin Flon and the Pas, and instead 17 and 18 degrees is where you're going to be headed today. High teens or even some low 20s through parts of the southwest, and yes, that possibility of precipitation, we're seeing it right now, and we too have that chance of some showers passing through. Other places might just see some heavier clouds lingering. But these temperatures will still be on the more pleasant side. It will be on the cloudier side throughout the rest of this week, and certainly parts of northwestern Ontario will deal with those heavier clouds as well. So after today, things really do begin to cloud over, with more precipitation to come overnight Thursday, continuing through Friday, even through Saturday. Some rain is expected. A little more sunshine, though, as we're wrapping up the weekend. That'll continue into next week. And when the sunshine returns, those temperatures bump up a little bit. Low 20s expected as we're looking ahead to next week. We're taking a break right now, but stick around. We'll be back with your morning.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Before we send you off, we're going to show you some fun video. It's a popular belief that dogs often resemble their owners. Well, meet the Ontario man who's blown that way out of proportion. Rich Lutchford of Oshawa dons the inflatable suit to walk his dachshund, Mia, to try to inspire some goodwill. His antics have earned him a certificate of joy from the mayor. That's sweet. That's cute. Aww.
What a bizarre thing to see.
That's so cute, though. Well, these two little cats are learning how to be big cats. The two little endangered Amur leopard cubs are practicing their hunting and playing moves at the Brookfield Zoo near Chicago. They were born July 14th and have been exploring their habitat. Look how cute they are. So little compared to Mama.
That is so cute. Sometimes I've seen videos of this before, and the mothers, like, they will totally react, even though, I mean, they're not, you know, startled by the cubs, but they do that just
playing along.
Yeah, to get that reaction, and
Absolutely.
I love it.
It's a good tactic. And if you're musically inclined, here's an idea to keep you entertained. Have you ever seen a rubber chicken playing the recorder? Well, now you have, and that's the Titanic.
Oh my gosh, that's better than most grade 2 classes.
What a creative idea. Well, that does it
Internet.
for us. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.